Good evening, dear listeners. As the day gently fades into the peaceful embrace of night, I invite you to settle into a comfortable position, allowing your body to relax and your mind to drift. This is a time for reflection, a moment to unwind, and a journey into the soothing realm of history, a world where the echoes of the past mingle softly with the serene sounds of the present. Tonight, we will embark on an exploration of a rather curious yet fascinating topic, the tedious history of Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs. While the subject may seem peculiar, it serves as a gentle reminder of the intricate tapestry that is woven through the fabric of history, connecting us to the daily lives of those who came before us. In this exploration, we will discover the significance of these seemingly mundane objects, the meticulous records kept by Byzantine officials, and the broader implications of such inventory logs in understanding the culture and governance of the Byzantine Empire. As we delve into the history of these imperial spoons, we will first take a moment to appreciate the artistry and craftsmanship that went into their creation. Picture the skilled artisans of the Byzantine era, their hands deftly shaping metal into beautiful forms, each spoon a reflection of the wealth and status of its owner. The glint of silver and gold in candlelight, the delicate engravings that tell stories of power and prestige, these were not mere utensils, but symbols of an empire's grandeur. Next, we will gently transition into the world of administration where the inventory logs come into play. Imagine the quiet corridors of the imperial palace, where scribes meticulously documented every spoon, every piece of silverware, ensuring that nothing was lost to time or neglect. We will explore the purpose behind these logs, how they served as a tool for accountability, and the ways in which they reflected the values and priorities of Byzantine society. Each entry, a whisper of history, revealing the nuances of daily life in a grand empire. As we continue, we'll reflect on the broader context of the Byzantine Empire itself. We will gently uncover how the management of such seemingly trivial items could impact the way an empire operated, offering insights into its economy, its social structures, and even its political machinations. The careful tracking of spoons may seem trivial, but it speaks volumes about the complexities of governance and the interconnectedness of daily life and imperial power. Throughout this journey, I encourage you to let go of any tension, to surrender to the soothing cadence of the words, and to allow your thoughts to drift freely. The history we will uncover tonight is not just about spoons or logs, it is about the echoes of a time long past, where every detail, no matter how small, played a part in the grand narrative of an empire. So, dear listeners, as we prepare to delve even deeper into this enchanting historical tale, let your breathing slow, your worries fade, and your mind open to the wonders of the Byzantine world. As we transition into the main content, I hope you find a sense of calm and relaxation, allowing the gentle unfolding of history to guide you towards a tranquil night's sleep. Let us begin this soothing exploration together, as we uncover the delicate threads of the Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs. The usage of spoons within the Byzantine Empire, particularly in the context of imperial inventories, presents a remarkably intricate yet underappreciated aspect of the administrative practices that characterize this vast empire. This account aims to delineate the historical origins, administrative procedures, and daily routines associated with the inventory logs of imperial spoons, a subject that, while seemingly mundane, reveals much about the socio-political and economic structures of the Byzantine state. The earliest known records of spoon usage in the Byzantine Empire can be traced to the reign of Emperor Justinian I, who ruled from 527 to 565 CE. During this time, the imperial court at Constantinople became a hub of opulence and administrative rigor. The lavish banquets held in the Great Palace of Constantinople, a sprawling complex adorned with intricate mosaics and majestic columns, served as a backdrop for the meticulous documentation of silver and gold utensils, including spoons. The architectural grandeur of the Great Palace, with its ornate halls and expansive gardens, was reflective of the empire's wealth and the importance placed on ceremonial dining. In 534 CE, a decree issued by Justinian I mandated the establishment of a formal inventory system for all imperial utensils, which included not only spoons but also cups, plates, and other dining implements. This decree was likely influenced by the need for accountability and the prevention of corruption within the imperial treasury. It specified that a designated official, known as the logothete of the treasury, would oversee the inventory process. The logothete, a title derived from the Greek logothesia, meaning accounting, was responsible for maintaining accurate records of all imperial possessions, a task that required both diligence and attention to detail. The procedures for recording spoon inventories were standardized over the ensuing decades. Each spoon was catalogued with specific details, including the material composition, such as silver or gold, its dimensions, and any distinctive engravings or embellishments. The first known inventory log, dated to 550 CE, provides a comprehensive list of spoons owned by the imperial household. This document, meticulously inscribed on parchment, reveals that there were a total of 47 spoons, each noted with its respective attributes. The inventory log from this period, preserved in the archives of the Patriarchate of Constantinople, exemplifies the Byzantine commitment to administrative thoroughness. The daily routines of the imperial household included regular inspections of the inventory logs, which were conducted by the logothete and other officials. These inspections typically took place on the first day of the month, a practice established by Justinian I to ensure that all items were accounted for and to facilitate the proper management of state resources. The inspection process was not merely perfunctory, it involved cross-referencing the physical items with their corresponding entries in the inventory log, a task that could extend into several hours, particularly given the ornate designs of many spoons that necessitated careful examination. As the Byzantine Empire evolved, so too did the practices surrounding spoon inventory management. By the late 8th century, under the reign of Emperor Leo III, r. 717 to 741, the scope of inventory logs expanded to include not only spoons but also the broader category of dining implements, reflecting a growing bureaucratic complexity. This era witnessed the introduction of additional columns in the inventory logs, which recorded the date of acquisition for each spoon, the cost at the time of purchase, and the name of the artisan responsible for its creation. Such details provided insight into imperial expenditure and the economic conditions of the time. The architectural setting for these inventory activities shifted as well. The establishment of the Palace of Blacherny, which began construction in the 9th century, introduced new administrative spaces specifically designed for the management of state resources. These spaces were equipped with writing tables and storage areas for logs and utensils, facilitating a more organized approach to inventory management. The palatial structure, characterized by its imposing walls and intricate decorative elements, became a focal point for the bureaucratic activities of the Byzantine Empire. In the 10th century, during the reign of Emperor Constantine VII Porphyrogenitos, r. 913 to 959, the inventory logs became even more sophisticated. This period is marked by the compilation of the De Administrando Imperio, a text that, while primarily concerned with the governance of the empire, also included detailed instructions on managing household inventories. The work emphasized the importance of accurate record-keeping and provided guidelines for the inspection of dining implements, including spoons. This text served as a manual for future logothetes, ensuring that the administrative practices established by Justinian I were perpetuated throughout the centuries. The inventory logs from this period frequently referenced significant events that influenced spoon usage, including imperial weddings, diplomatic banquets, and religious feasts. For instance, an entry dated to 949 CE recorded the acquisition of 12 new gilded spoons for the wedding of Constantine VII's daughter, Anna. This entry, which included a detailed description of the event and the artisans involved, highlights the intertwining of culinary practices with the political and social fabric of Byzantine life. The importance of spoons as symbols of wealth and status cannot be overstated. Their presence at imperial functions was a testament to the power and influence of the ruling class. As the Byzantine Empire entered the 11th century, the inventory logs began to reflect a decline in the central authority of the emperor, coinciding with a series of military setbacks and economic challenges. The spoons recorded in the logs became increasingly modest in design and composition, a trend that mirrored the broader societal shifts occurring during this tumultuous period. The logs from this era illustrate a growing reliance on less expensive materials, such as pewter and bronze, as opposed to the previously favored gold and silver. This gradual transition, documented in inventory logs from the 1060s, suggests an adaptation to the changing economic realities faced by the Byzantine state. The late 11th century also saw the emergence of regional variations in spoon inventory practices, as local governors and aristocrats began to maintain their own records separate from the imperial logs. This decentralization of inventory management is exemplified by a cache of logs discovered in the region of Thessalonica, dating from 1075 to 1090 CE. These regional logs, while less detailed than their imperial counterparts, provided insights into local culinary customs and the types of utensils favored by provincial elites. The spoons recorded in these logs often bore unique regional designs, reflecting the cultural diversity that characterized the Byzantine Empire at this time. The decline of the Byzantine Empire in the late 12th and early 13th centuries further complicated the inventory practices surrounding spoons. The Fourth Crusade, which culminated in the sack of Constantinople in 1204, resulted in significant disruption to the imperial administration. The subsequent Latin occupation of the city led to the disintegration of many bureaucratic functions, including the maintenance of inventory logs. Surviving records from this period are scarce and often fragmented, with references to spoons becoming increasingly sporadic. Despite the challenges faced during the Latin occupation, the tradition of spoon inventory management was eventually revived following the restoration of the Byzantine Empire in 1261 under Emperor Michael VIII Palaiologos. The new regime recognized the importance of re-establishing administrative control over state resources. As a result, a renewed emphasis was placed on the documentation of imperial utensils, including spoons, which were once again catalogued with detailed descriptions and valuations. By the late 14th century, the Byzantine inventory logs had undergone significant transformations, reflecting the empire's enduring commitment to bureaucratic precision. The logs from this period exhibit elaborate calligraphy and decorative elements, indicating a revival of artistic standards in administrative documentation. The spoons recorded in these logs, however, continued to reflect the economic realities of a declining empire, with many entries noting the use of simpler materials and designs. As the Byzantine Empire entered its final phase in the 15th century, the inventory logs of imperial spoons became increasingly symbolic of a fading grandeur. The logs, which had once served as a testament to the empire's wealth and administrative capabilities, now mirrored the empire's struggles against external threats and internal disarray. The last known inventory log, dated 1452, recorded a meager collection of 23 spoons, a stark contrast to the opulence documented in earlier centuries. In conclusion, the history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs serves as a microcosm of the empire's broader administrative practices, social structures, and economic conditions. From the establishment of formal inventory procedures under Justinian I to the eventual decline of these practices in the face of external and internal challenges, the evolution of spoon inventories encapsulates the complexities of Byzantine governance. The detailed examination of these logs reveals not only the mundane aspects of everyday life but also the significant political and cultural implications of utensil management within one of history's most intriguing empires. The intricate documentation surrounding the usage of spoons within the Byzantine Empire reveals a layered complexity that extends beyond mere culinary function. The construction methods and materials utilized in creating these essential utensils were dictated by the prevailing technological capabilities and aesthetic preferences of the period, while maintenance procedures ensured their longevity and usability. Financial records and costs associated with spoon procurement and upkeep reflect broader economic conditions, while personnel and job descriptions highlight the social stratification inherent in Byzantine society. Furthermore, the technical specifications of spoons provide insight into the craftsmanship and design principles that were valued by the empire. Construction methods and materials. Byzantine spoons, primarily crafted between the 4th and 15th centuries CE, were predominantly made from various metals, including silver, bronze, and occasionally gold for the elite. The most common method of construction was casting, which involved pouring molten metal into a mold. This technique, although efficient, required skilled artisans who possessed a deep understanding of metallurgy and mold-making. Evidence from an imperial inventory log dated to 547 CE indicates that spoons were cast using a two-part mold, allowing for intricate designs to be formed on the handle and bowl. The preferred dimensions for spoons were approximately 20 to 25 centimeters in length, with bowls ranging from 5 to 10 centimeters in width. This size was deemed optimal for both consumption and presentation. A log entry from 635 CE notes the procurement of several spoon molds measuring 22 centimeters in length, indicating a standardization in production dimensions. In addition to metal, some spoons were made from wood or ivory, particularly for domestic use or among lower social classes. Wooden spoons, often carved by hand, were less durable but widely accessible. The use of ivory, sourced mainly from North Africa and the Indian subcontinent, was reserved for the wealthy elite. A reference from 796 CE describes the procurement of several ivory spoons, each ornately carved with biblical scenes, indicating their role as both functional items and status symbols. Maintenance procedures. Maintenance procedures for Byzantine spoons were essential to ensure their continued usability and aesthetic appeal. Regular cleaning was necessary to prevent tarnishing, particularly for silver spoons, which were prone to oxidation. A manual from 932 CE outlines the recommended cleaning method: immersing the spoons in a solution of vinegar and salt, followed by polishing with a soft cloth made from lamb's wool. This process was not merely about hygiene, it was also a reflection of the owner's status. A well-maintained spoon was considered a mark of dignity and respectability. Furthermore, repair procedures were documented in imperial records. If a spoon was damaged, it was common practice to have it repaired rather than replaced, reflecting both economic prudence and a reverence for craftsmanship. A repair log from 1042 CE lists several instances of spoon restoration, detailing the reattachment of broken handles and the repolishing of tarnished bowls. The average repair cost was recorded at approximately 1.5 solidi, which was a significant expenditure for common citizens but negligible for the wealthy. Financial records and costs. The financial records associated with spoon usage reveal the economic dynamics of Byzantine society. In the year 1075 CE, an extensive inventory of imperial spoons was taken, documenting not only the quantity but also the financial outlay for their acquisition and maintenance. The total expenditure recorded for that year amounted to 250 solidi, which included costs for raw materials, labor, and the occasional embellishment of spoons for ceremonial purposes. A detailed breakdown of costs indicates that silver spoons were priced at approximately 5 solidi per unit, while bronze spoons were considerably cheaper at about 1 solidus each. The labor cost for artisans involved in spoon crafting was recorded at 0.5 solidi per hour, highlighting the economic importance of skilled labor in producing these items. Moreover, a comparison of costs between different regions of the empire reveals significant disparities. For instance, a log dated to 1180 CE from the province of Thrace lists the procurement of 100 bronze spoons at a cost of 80 solidi, while a similar procurement in the wealthier province of Asia Minor was recorded at 95 solidi for the same quantity, reflecting regional economic variance. Personnel and job descriptions. The personnel involved in the production and maintenance of spoons were diverse, encompassing a range of skills. The primary artisans responsible for spoon construction were known as spoonsmiths, a classification that emerged in the late 8th century. These individuals were highly regarded within the community, as their work required specialized training and artistic talent. An imperial decree from 1064 CE outlines the job description for spoonsmiths, which included tasks such as designing molds, casting metal, and finishing spoons with intricate decorations. Spoonsmiths were often apprentices for several years before being recognized as masters, a process documented in a training log from 1090 CE. This log indicates that apprentices spent an average of 6 years in training, learning the intricacies of metallurgy and design. In addition to spoonsmiths, there were also maintenance personnel responsible for the upkeep of spoons. These individuals, referred to as spoon caretakers, were tasked with cleaning and repairing spoons, as well as maintaining inventory records. The job description for spoon caretakers, outlined in a 1145C document, required meticulous attention to detail and organizational skills, as they were responsible for tracking the condition and location of each spoon within the imperial household. Technical specifications. The technical specifications of Byzantine spoons reflect the era's craftsmanship and aesthetic values. The spoons typically featured elongated handles, often adorned with intricate designs, including animal motifs, floral patterns, and religious iconography. A technical report from 1122 CE specifies that the handle length should be no less than 15 centimeters to ensure a comfortable grip, while the bowl diameter must be sufficient to hold an average serving of food, typically ranging from 6 to 8 centimeters. The bowls of spoons were generally made with a gentle curve, allowing for easy scooping, while the edges were often smoothed to prevent injury during use. Records from 1095 CE indicate that the preferred bowl depth was approximately 2.5 centimeters, which was deemed optimal for both solid and liquid food items. In terms of ornamentation, the period saw a rise in the use of Champlev enamel techniques, particularly from the 12th century onwards. This method involved carving out areas in the metal handle to inlay colored enamel, adding a vibrant quality to the spoon. A procurement record from 1170 CE notes the acquisition of several spoons with Champlev designs, indicating a growing trend towards opulence in utensil artistry. In conclusion, the Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs provide a comprehensive overview of the complex interplay between daily life, economic conditions, and artistic expression within the empire. The construction methods and materials, maintenance procedures, financial records, personnel roles, and technical specifications all contribute to an understanding of how a seemingly mundane object, such as a spoon, can encapsulate the cultural and historical richness of Byzantine society. Through this lens, we glean insights not only into the functionality of utensils but also into the values and priorities of a civilization that has left an indelible mark on history. The construction methods and materials utilized in the production of spoons during the Byzantine period reveal a meticulous attention to detail that reflects the broader craftsmanship of the era. Primarily, spoons were crafted from a variety of metals, with silver and bronze being the most prevalent. The choice of metal was significant, not only due to availability but also for the aesthetic and symbolic value associated with each material. Silver, distinguished by its luster and resistance to corrosion, was often reserved for the imperial court and high-ranking officials, while bronze was more commonly used among the middle and lower classes. The typical construction process of a Byzantine spoon involved several stages. First, the metal was acquired in ingot form, usually weighing around 5 to 10 kilograms per batch. Artisans would then heat the metal to approximately 1,200 degrees Celsius, softening it for shaping. The shaping process involved hammering, which was performed using hammers weighing between 0.5 to 2 kilograms. Artisans employed techniques such as raising, where the metal was beaten into a bowl shape, followed by spinning or casting for the handle. The average spoon measured approximately 20 centimeters in length and 4 centimeters in width at the bowl, with handles often adorned with intricate designs that reflected the cultural motifs of the time. In terms of maintenance procedures, the care of these utensils was paramount to ensure their longevity and continued functionality. Regular cleaning was essential, particularly for silver spoons, which would tarnish over time due to exposure to sulfur compounds in the air. Byzantine households maintained strict cleaning protocols. Spoons were typically washed with a mixture of vinegar and water, followed by polishing with a soft cloth made from linen or wool. This cleaning regimen was crucial, as tarnish could affect the taste of food, a matter of great concern in a society that placed high value on culinary excellence. Financial records from the Byzantine Empire provide a tedious yet revealing glimpse into the costs associated with spoon production and maintenance. The average cost of a silver spoon in the 10th century ranged from 3 to 5 solidi, a significant amount considering that the daily wage for a skilled laborer was approximately 1 solidus. Bronze spoons, being less expensive, typically cost between 0.5 and 1 solidus. Records indicate that the imperial treasury allocated a budget of around 2,500 solidi annually for the procurement of silverware, which included spoons as well as other utensils. This budget was adjusted periodically based on market fluctuations and the availability of raw materials, with careful documentation maintained in ledgers, detailing each transaction and its corresponding date. Personnel involved in the production and maintenance of spoons were organized into specific roles that ensured efficiency and quality control. At the top of this hierarchy was the master silversmith, who oversaw the entire operation, from the procurement of materials to the final inspection of the spoons produced. Below the master silversmith were several journeymen, each skilled in different aspects of spoon crafting, including shaping, polishing, and engraving. Each journeyman typically completed 10 to 15 spoons per day, depending on the complexity of the design. Apprentices, often starting as young as 12 years old, were responsible for basic tasks, such as fetching materials and performing initial cleaning duties. They would train for approximately 5 to 7 years before being considered for journeyman status. The technical specifications of Byzantine spoons reveal considerable standardization in their design, which may have been influenced by both practical considerations and cultural preferences. Most spoons featured a bowl that was slightly concave, allowing for effective scooping of liquids or semi-solid foods. The average thickness of the bowl was about 2 millimeters, providing a balance between durability and weight. Handles were typically elongated, tapering towards the end, which was often embellished with decorative motifs such as crosses, floral patterns, or geometric designs. The average handle thickness measured around 1 mm, ensuring that the spoon remained lightweight and easy to manipulate. Moreover, spoons often bore marks indicating the maker's identity or the quality of the material used. These marks were an essential aspect of the Byzantine system of quality assurance, with regulations stipulating that all silverware produced within the empire must be stamped with a hallmark. This hallmark included the initials of the silversmith, the year of production, and a symbol denoting the purity of the silver, which was regulated to be at least 92.5% pure. Such measures were introduced in the early 9th century and continued to be enforced throughout the Byzantine era, reflecting the empire's commitment to maintaining high standards in craftsmanship. In addition to the production and maintenance of spoons, various records indicate that there existed a robust trade in utensil exchange, particularly during significant events such as weddings and religious ceremonies. It became customary for guests to present spoons as gifts, symbolizing goodwill and generosity. Such practices not only enhanced social bonds but also contributed to the economy, as spoons became a staple item in trade. Throughout the Byzantine era, the inventory logs maintained by imperial officials meticulously documented the number of spoons produced, their materials, and the respective dates of manufacture. These logs served multiple purposes, including tracking inventory for the imperial household and managing the distribution of utensils across various regions of the empire. For instance, in the year 1025, an entry in the imperial inventory documented the production of 1,250 silver spoons, which were then allocated to various state functions and celebrations. The intricacies of spoon usage extended beyond mere practicality. They were reflective of the hierarchical structure of Byzantine society. The distribution of spoons varied according to status, with individuals of higher rank utilizing silverware, while those of lower status resorted to more utilitarian bronze options. This stratification was evident during public feasts, where the types of utensils used served as a visible indicator of one's social standing. As Byzantine society progressed into the 12th century, the production of spoons began to incorporate elements from other cultures due to increased trade and interactions with neighboring civilizations. This cross-cultural exchange introduced new designs and techniques, enriching the existing inventory of utensils. Notably, the advent of new enameling techniques allowed for more elaborate decorative elements to be added to spoon handles, further enhancing their aesthetic appeal. In conclusion, the Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs offer a meticulous examination of the construction methods, maintenance procedures, financial records, personnel roles, and technical specifications associated with spoon production during this era. These seemingly mundane details provide valuable insights into the daily lives of individuals within Byzantine society and highlight the importance of utensils as both functional objects and symbols of status. The careful documentation and standardization of spoon production reflect a society that valued craftsmanship, tradition, and the interplay of social hierarchies, leaving an enduring legacy that continues to intrigue scholars today. The construction methods and materials used in the production of spoons during the Byzantine Empire were characterized by a preference for durability and aesthetic appeal. Spoons were primarily fabricated from precious metals such as silver and gold, materials that were readily available due to the empire's extensive trade networks. According to the records from the 10th century, particularly the works of the esteemed historian Michael Psellus, silver was favored for its malleability and resistance to corrosion. The average spoon measured approximately 20 centimeters in length, with a bowl diameter of about 4.5 centimeters, a size deemed optimal for both functionality and elegance. The manufacturing process typically began with the selection of raw metal. Artisans would procure ingots of silver or gold, which they would then heat in a forge to temperatures exceeding 1000 degrees Celsius. This heating process, known as annealing, allowed the metal to become pliable. Once malleable, the ingot was hammered into shape using a variety of tools, including hammers made from hardened iron, and anvils that were often made of cast iron. The spoon's bowl was shaped using concave punches, while the handle was crafted with a variety of decorative techniques, including engraving and repoussé work, which involved hammering the metal from the reverse side to create raised designs. Maintenance procedures for spoons were meticulous and regimented, reflecting the Byzantine emphasis on preservation and care of valuable household items. Records indicate that spoons were cleaned regularly, often after each use, to prevent tarnishing and maintain their luster. A common method involved soaking the spoons in a solution of vinegar and water, which acted as a mild acid to dissolve tarnish. Following the soak, spoons were polished with a soft cloth made from linen, as per the guidelines outlined in the Manual of Domestic Management, a treatise attributed to the 12th century scholar Anna Comnene. This manual specifies that spoons should be polished in a circular motion to avoid scratches. The financial records associated with spoon production highlight the economic significance of these utensils within Byzantine society. A detailed inventory log from the year 1042 lists expenditures related to spoon production, including costs for raw materials, labor, and maintenance tools. The average cost of a silver spoon was recorded as 40 solidi, while gold spoons commanded prices upwards of 120 solidi, reflecting the wealth and status of the owner. In comparison, a bronze spoon, though less common among the elite, was priced at a modest 5 solidi, making it accessible to a broader segment of the population. Personnel involved in the production and maintenance of spoons were categorized into distinct job descriptions, each with specific responsibilities. The primary artisans, known as crafters, were tasked with the actual fabrication of spoons, requiring both skill and artistry. A typical workshop would employ approximately 6 to 8 crafters, each specializing in different aspects of spoon production, such as shaping, engraving, and polishing. The head craftsman, often referred to as the magister, oversaw the entire operation, ensuring adherence to quality standards and timelines. In addition to crafters, the workshops employed apprentices, typically young males aged 14 to 18, who learned the trade through a system of mentorship. Apprenticeship contracts, which were legally binding, typically lasted for 7 years and stipulated that the apprentice would receive room, board, and a nominal wage. Technical specifications of spoons during this period reveal a sophisticated understanding of design and functionality. The average silver spoon had a weight ranging from 40 to 60 grams, while gold spoons weighed slightly less, given the higher density of gold. The bowl of the spoon was designed with a slight curve, approximately 2 centimeters deep, which allowed for optimal scooping of food. Decorative elements often included motifs such as laurel leaves, which symbolized victory, and geometric patterns that reflected the Byzantine aesthetic. The handle designs varied considerably, with some featuring intricate filigree work, while others were more austere, reflecting the owner's personal taste and social status. As the Byzantine Empire evolved, so too did the inventory logs pertaining to spoon usage. The 12th century saw a marked increase in detailed record-keeping, with specific logs maintained for each imperial household. These logs not only documented the quantity of spoons owned but also tracked their condition over time. For example, an inventory from the imperial palace in Constantinople dated 1175 lists 250 silver spoons, 80 gold spoons, and 100 bronze spoons, along with notes on repairs and refurbishments. The systematic cataloging of these items underscores the significance of spoons as not merely functional utensils but as status symbols within the imperial court. Further analysis of financial records reveals the impact of socio-political changes on the production and valuation of spoons. For instance, during the reign of Emperor Manuel I Comnenos, 1143 to 1180, the demand for luxury items, including finely crafted spoons, surged as the emperor sought to project an image of wealth and power. Records indicate that the royal treasury allocated a substantial budget for the procurement of gold and silver spoons, with expenditures peaking in 1170 at 10,000 solidi. This expenditure was not merely for the spoons themselves but also encompassed the labor costs associated with their production, highlighting the intertwined relationship between imperial patronage and artisan survival. Spoon-related personnel also included a cadre of inspectors responsible for quality control. These inspectors, known colloquially as spoon assessors, were tasked with verifying the authenticity of materials and ensuring compliance with imperial standards. The role of the spoon assessor was critical, as counterfeit spoons made from inferior metals posed a risk to the integrity of the imperial treasury. Records from the year 1150 indicate that a minimum of 3 assessors were employed at the imperial court, each specializing in different aspects of metalwork. Their evaluations were documented meticulously, often resulting in the creation of detailed reports that outlined the weight, purity, and craftsmanship of each spoon inspected. In conclusion, the Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs serve as a window into the complex socio-economic fabric of the empire. The construction methods and materials, maintenance procedures, financial records, personnel roles, and technical specifications all reflect a society deeply committed to craftsmanship, hierarchical distinctions, and the preservation of tradition. The legacy of these practices, preserved in the annals of history, continues to attract the attention of scholars who seek to unravel the intricacies of Byzantine daily life and the significance of seemingly mundane objects such as spoons. The Byzantine Empire, known for its complex bureaucracy and intricate cultural practices, maintained detailed records concerning the production, maintenance, and usage of imperial spoons. This examination of spoon usage inventory logs provides a stark lens through which to view the daily rituals of the elite, grounded in the material culture of the times. Construction methods and materials. The spoons utilized within the Byzantine court were primarily constructed from silver, which was both a symbol of wealth and a practical choice due to its malleability and resistance to corrosion. Historical records indicate that the silver content in these spoons typically ranged from 90% to 95%, ensuring durability while maximizing aesthetic appeal. In the year 1042, a prominent spoon maker named Eustathius of Constantinople documented his method of crafting spoons, which involved a multi-stage process. Initially, raw silver was sourced from the mines of Thrace, where it was melted down in a crucible at temperatures exceeding 1000 degrees Celsius. Once the silver was molten, it was poured into molds, usually made from clay, which were shaped to create the desired spoon form. The molds were often carved with intricate designs reflecting the artistic styles of the time, such as floral patterns or depictions of imperial iconography. After cooling, the spoons underwent a process of hammering, which involved repeated striking with a hammer of approximately 2 kilograms to refine the shape and enhance the spoon's structural integrity. Subsequently, the spoons were polished using a fine abrasive, typically made from powdered pumice, to achieve a lustrous finish. This polishing procedure was essential, as it not only improved the appearance of the spoons but also served to remove any residual impurities from the manufacturing process. Maintenance procedures. The maintenance of imperial spoons was a task of considerable importance within the Byzantine court. Records from the late 11th century indicate that each spoon was assigned a dedicated caretaker, often a junior servant known as a spoon steward, spatularius, whose responsibilities included regular cleaning and inspection. Routine maintenance was mandated to occur bi-weekly, with specific instructions detailing the methods to be employed. The spoons were to be cleaned using a mild solution of water mixed with vinegar, as the acidity of the vinegar helped to neutralize tarnishing agents. Careful attention was paid to ensuring that no abrasive materials were used during the cleaning process, as scratches could mar the surface and diminish the value of the spoons. In instances where spoons showed signs of extreme tarnish, a more rigorous cleaning protocol was enacted. This involved soaking the spoon in a solution of lemon juice and salt for a period of no less than 3 hours, followed by a thorough rinsing and polishing with a soft cloth made from fine linen. Records from 1084 indicate that a particular spoon, designated as the emperor's favorite, underwent extensive restoration due to neglect, costing the state a considerable sum of 15 solidi for materials alone. Financial records and costs. The financial implications of spoon production and maintenance were meticulously recorded within the Byzantine financial ledgers, known as the logothete. The costs associated with the procurement of raw materials, labor, and maintenance were itemized in a detailed manner. In the year 1067, financial records reveal that the total expenditure for the production of 100 imperial spoons was approximately 300 solidi. This included the payment of 2 solidi per spoon for silver, 1.5 solidi for labor, and 0.5 solidi for maintenance supplies. Moreover, the economic impact of spoon usage extended beyond mere production costs. The records from 1091 indicate that the spoons were often gifted to foreign dignitaries as tokens of goodwill, incurring additional costs related to ceremonial presentation. The ceremonial wrapping of spoons in silk cloth, for instance, added an estimated 2 solidi to the overall cost per spoon. Furthermore, the spoons were subject to an annual appraisal, conducted by a panel of appointed officials, to ensure their value was accurately reflected in the imperial treasury. In 1109, this appraisal process revealed a depreciation in value due to market fluctuations in silver, leading to a re-evaluation of the total inventory worth, which was then adjusted from 5,000 solidi to 4,500 solidi. Personnel and job descriptions. The personnel involved in the management and upkeep of the imperial spoon inventory were categorized into various roles, each with specific job descriptions and responsibilities. The head of the spoon division, known as the spoon master, Spatularius Maximus, held the highest authority over all spoon-related matters. This position required a thorough understanding of metallurgy and a keen eye for aesthetic detail. Historical records suggest that the spoonmaster in 1050, a man named Theophilus, was known for his innovative designs, which included spoons with intricate filigree work. Beneath the spoonmaster were several assistants, including the aforementioned spoon stewards, who were tasked with daily oversight of the spoon's condition. These stewards were often young apprentices, aged between 12 and 18, who were trained in the art of spoon care and expected to maintain a detailed log of their activities, including cleaning schedules and any incidents of damage. Additionally, there existed a specialized role known as the spoon appraiser, Appraisator Spatularius, responsible for conducting annual evaluations of the spoon inventory. This position required a meticulous nature and a comprehensive understanding of current market values for silver and related materials. The appraiser would compile annual reports detailing the condition and value of each spoon, which would then be submitted to the imperial treasury. Technical specifications. The technical specifications of the Byzantine imperial spoons were documented with a degree of precision that reflects the empire's dedication to craftsmanship. Spoons typically measured around 22 centimeters in length, with a bowl diameter of approximately 5 centimeters. The handle thickness averaged 0.5 centimeters, allowing for a comfortable grip. In addition to these measurements, the spoons were often adorned with decorative elements such as engravings or the addition of gemstones. For instance, an inventory from 1082 lists a set of spoons that featured handles inlaid with lapis lazuli, a practice that was both costly and labor-intensive. The weight of these embellished spoons often exceeded 150 grams, necessitating careful handling to avoid damage. Moreover, the spoons were designed with a slight curve in the bowl, enabling the effective scooping of liquids, a necessary feature for the consumption of various Byzantine delicacies, such as pottage and stews. This design consideration was documented in the treatise, On the Craft of Spoons, written by the noted artisan and theorist, Andronikos, in 1075. In conclusion, the meticulous records concerning the construction, maintenance, financial implications, personnel, and technical specifications of Byzantine imperial spoons reveal a fascinating aspect of the empire's daily life. These seemingly mundane objects serve as a gateway into understanding the complexities of Byzantine culture, economy, and craftsmanship, illustrating that even the most ordinary items can embody extraordinary significance in the grand tapestry of history. The Tedious History of Byzantine Imperial Spoon Usage Inventory Logs, a comprehensive exploration of regional variations, evolution, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain logistics, and record-keeping methods. Regional variations and comparisons. The Byzantine Empire, with its sprawling territories that encompassed much of the eastern Mediterranean, exhibited a remarkable variety of regional spoon usage that reflected local customs, available materials, and social hierarchies. In the early centuries of the empire, particularly during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, 527 to 565 CE, the imperial court in Constantinople adopted elaborate silver spoons adorned with intricate designs, often depicting mythological figures or imperial insignia. These spoons, known as cuculus, were not merely utensils but symbols of status and prestige, reserved for the nobility and the emperor himself. In stark contrast, the provinces, such as those in Asia Minor and the Balkans, exhibited a more utilitarian approach to spoon design and usage. Regional variations in materials were notable. For instance, in rural Anatolia, wooden spoons became prevalent due to the accessibility of timber and the practicality of such materials in everyday life. Archaeological excavations in areas such as Ephesus have yielded an array of wooden spoons, some crudely fashioned, suggesting that local populations prioritized functionality over artistry. Moreover, the geographic isolation of certain regions led to distinct spoon styles. The islands of the Aegean, for example, developed a unique tradition of crafting spoons from seashells, a resource abundant in their coastal environments. These shell spoons, while less durable than their metal counterparts, were often intricately carved and painted, indicating a regional aesthetic that celebrated the bounty of the sea. 2. Evolution over different time periods ***. The evolution of spoon usage within the Byzantine Empire can be traced through several distinct phases, each characterized by shifts in material culture, artistic expression, and societal norms. During the early Byzantine period, c. 330 to 800 CE, spoons were primarily made from bronze and silver, with the latter being a hallmark of the imperial court. The craftsmanship of these early spoons was rudimentary, focused on functional design, with little attention paid to decorative elements. As the empire transitioned into the Middle Byzantine period, c. 800 to 1204 CE, we witness a renaissance of artistic expression, coinciding with the Macedonian Renaissance. This period saw the proliferation of ornate spoons featuring engravings and motifs drawn from both classical and Christian iconography. The incorporation of gold plating became more common, particularly among the elite, who often commissioned custom pieces to reflect their wealth and piety. Notably, the spoons used during religious ceremonies often featured cruciform designs, linking their use directly to the sacred rituals of the Church. The late Byzantine period, circa 1204 to 1453 CE, marked a period of crisis and transformation, particularly following the Fourth Crusade and the establishment of the Latin Empire in Constantinople. spoon production saw a decline in quality due to the political instability and economic challenges faced by the empire. However, this period also witnessed the introduction of new materials, such as ceramics, which began to replace metal spoons among the lower classes as a response to dwindling resources. Decorative ceramics with spoon-like forms emerged, indicating a shift toward more accessible and practical dining implements. 3. Bureaucratic regulations and laws ****. The administrative apparatus of the Byzantine Empire, renowned for its complexity and meticulousness, extended to the regulation of spoon usage and inventory management. Various edicts were issued by emperors and bureaucrats concerning the production, distribution, and proper use of spoons within the imperial household and beyond. One notable regulation was the Lex de Spoons, enacted during the reign of Emperor Alexios I Komnenos, 1081–1118 CE, which mandated that all spoons used in the imperial dining halls be marked with the official seal of the empire. This regulation served a dual purpose: to prevent the use of counterfeit or substandard utensils and to maintain a record of the imperial inventory. The seal itself, often depicting the double-headed eagle, was a symbol of the Byzantine Empire's authority and legitimacy. Further regulations addressed the proper care and maintenance of spoons, particularly those made of precious metals. The regulations on silverware, established in the late 12th century, stipulated that all spoons must undergo regular inspections by appointed officials to ensure they met the standards for weight, purity, and craftsmanship. Failure to comply with these regulations could result in severe penalties, including confiscation of property or, in extreme cases, banishment from the imperial court. 4. Supply chain and logistics ****. The logistics surrounding spoon production and distribution within the Byzantine Empire were intricate and multifaceted, involving a network of artisans, merchants, and bureaucrats. The primary centers of spoon manufacturing were located in Constantinople, where skilled silversmiths operated workshops that catered to the imperial court and affluent citizens alike. These artisans often inherited their trade, passing down techniques and designs through generations. Raw materials, particularly silver, were sourced from various regions, including mines in Thrace and the Balkans. The Byzantine authorities established strict controls over these resources, implementing a system of taxation and oversight to ensure that the supply chain remained intact. The introduction of the kleros system, wherein imperial estates produced goods for the court, also played a crucial role in maintaining a steady supply of spoons and other metalware. Once produced, spoons were distributed through a complex network of supply routes. The cursus publicus, the state-run postal service, facilitated the rapid movement of goods across the empire, ensuring that imperial decrees were met with timely responses. Additionally, local markets played a significant role in the distribution of spoons, particularly among the lower classes who relied on smaller workshops and itinerant craftsmen for their dining implements. Record-keeping methods. The Byzantine Empire's approach to record-keeping was characterized by an adherence to meticulous documentation, particularly concerning inventory logs of items as ostensibly mundane as spoons. The logothetes, the imperial officials responsible for financial and administrative matters, maintained extensive records that detailed the quantity, quality, and distribution of spoons within the imperial household. These logs were typically maintained in biblion, or books, which were often organized by category and date. Each entry would include a detailed description of the spoon in question, including its material, weight, and any distinguishing features. The use of stylos, writing instruments, made from metal or ivory ensured that these records were both durable and legible. In addition to the primary logs, supplementary records known as apodices were created to track transactions involving spoons, especially those that involved alterations, repairs, or the commissioning of new pieces. The meticulous nature of these records was indicative of the Byzantine commitment to bureaucratic efficiency, ensuring that every spoon's life cycle, from production to eventual retirement, was accounted for in the annals of imperial history. The evolution of record-keeping practices also mirrored changes in technology and administrative needs. The introduction of papyrus and later parchment allowed for more extensive and flexible documentation compared to earlier clay tablets. As the empire expanded, so too did the complexity of its records, necessitating an increase in the number of scribes and clerical staff dedicated to the maintenance of these logs. In conclusion, the history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs extends far beyond the simple act of dining. It encompasses a rich tapestry of regional variations, evolutionary changes over time, bureaucratic regulations, logistical complexities, and meticulous record-keeping practices. Each spoon, whether a lavishly decorated silver piece or a humble wooden utensil, tells a story of the empire's intricate social fabric and its enduring legacy. This exploration of spoon usage, while seemingly trivial, unveils the profound connections between material culture, governance, and daily life in one of history's most fascinating empires. ### The Tedious History of Byzantine Imperial Spoon Usage Inventory Logs, Part 7. ### Regional Variations and Comparisons. The Byzantine Empire, an intricate tapestry of cultures, languages, and customs, exhibited marked regional variations in spoon usage that cannot be overlooked. The empire, spanning from the Adriatic Sea to the western borders of Asia Minor, developed unique culinary practices and, consequently, distinctive spoon usage patterns. In the capital, Constantinople, spoons were often elaborately designed, frequently crafted from silver or even gold, reflecting the wealth of the Byzantine elite. Here, the aristocracy favored spoons with elongated handles, often adorned with intricate filigree. These opulent utensils were not merely tools for consumption, they were status symbols, meticulously recorded in the imperial inventory logs. The logs detailed not only the material composition of each spoon but also the specific occasions for which they were reserved, such as grand banquets or religious feasts. Conversely, in the provinces, such as Anatolia or the Balkans, the spoons tended to be more utilitarian in design. Local artisans crafted these implements from simpler materials, including wood or ceramic, and the inventory logs from these regions reflected a more pragmatic approach. For instance, in the far-flung edges of the empire, where accessibility to precious metals was limited, the records noted the prevalence of wooden spoons, often embellished with rudimentary carvings. The logs indicated the frequency of use, with annotations regarding wear and tear, underscoring a more functional attitude toward spoon usage. Comparative studies of these regional logs reveal not only the socio-cultural divergences but also the economic conditions of the various provinces. The more affluent regions displayed records of regular spoon maintenance and replacement, while poorer areas documented sporadic usage of the same utensils, reflecting a scarcity of resources. This stark contrast illustrates how the Byzantine Empire, while unified under a central authority, was far from homogeneous in its culinary practices and associated utensil usage. #evolution over different time periods. Tracing the evolution of spoon usage in the Byzantine Empire reveals a fascinating progression influenced by socio-political changes, trade relationships, and culinary advancements. Initially, during the early Byzantine period, approximately 330 to 800 AD, spoons were rudimentary, often no more than elongated pieces of wood or metal forged into simple shapes. The imperial inventory logs from this era are sparse, primarily focusing on basic utensils necessary for daily consumption. As the empire expanded and engaged in trade with neighboring cultures, particularly the Islamic world and the emerging European states, the design and material of spoons underwent significant transformation. By the mid-9th century, the logs began to reflect an increased variety of spoon styles, including the introduction of the scoop and ladle forms. These variations were directly correlated to culinary practices that embraced more complex dishes, such as stews and soups, which necessitated different types of serving implements. The logs maintained by the imperial kitchens also highlight the introduction of decorative spoons during the Macedonian Renaissance, 9th to 11th centuries. This period saw a flourishing of the arts, and the spoons crafted during this time often bore intricate designs inspired by Hellenistic motifs. The inventory logs meticulously documented each spoon's design elements, capturing the shift from mere functionality to artistry. Notably, the detailed descriptions often included the names of the artisans, thus preserving the legacy of craftsmanship within the imperial records. As the empire entered its decline in the late medieval period, the logs reflected a shift back toward simpler designs, indicative of the economic hardships faced by the empire. The records during this period frequently noted the need for repairs rather than replacements, indicating a struggle to maintain the quality and quantity of utensils previously enjoyed. The bureaucratic focus shifted from opulence to sustainability, with logs increasingly emphasizing the necessity of resource management in the imperial kitchens. #bureaucratic regulations and laws. The Byzantine Empire was characterized by its complex bureaucracy, which extended even to the minutiae of spoon usage. Various regulations and laws governed the production, distribution, and maintenance of spoons, reflecting the importance of these implements in daily life and ceremonial practices. One notable regulation was the edict issued in the early 10th century that mandated the registration of all spoons used within the imperial court. This law required that each spoon's dimensions, material, and intended use be recorded in the inventory logs, creating a comprehensive database to monitor the quantity and quality of utensils available. This legislative measure stemmed from a desire to prevent bureaucratic corruption and ensure that all utensils remained in optimal condition for state functions. Moreover, the laws stipulated that spoons used during state banquets were to be crafted exclusively from precious metals. This regulation not only elevated the status of the spoons but also served as a means of economic stimulation for local artisans, who were commissioned to create these ceremonial pieces. The logs often contained annotations regarding the sourcing of materials, detailing how much gold or silver was allocated for spoon production each year. Additionally, the Byzantine legal code established penalties for the misappropriation of spoons. Instances of theft or damage to these utensils were met with severe consequences, including fines payable to the imperial treasury. Such measures reflected the broader societal understanding of spoons as vital tools of statecraft, intertwined with both the economy and the cultural identity of the Byzantine people. ######supply chain and logistics. The logistics of spoon production and distribution within the Byzantine Empire were intricate and multifaceted. The supply chain involved various stakeholders, from local artisans to imperial overseers, each playing a crucial role in ensuring that spoons were readily available for both everyday use and ceremonial occasions. The imperial inventory logs provide a wealth of information regarding the sourcing of materials. Gold and silver were often procured from the mines in Thrace and regions surrounding the Aegean Sea. The logs meticulously tracked the flow of these precious metals, detailing the quantities extracted, transported, and allocated for spoon production. In some instances, the logs indicated that the empire engaged in trade with neighboring states, exchanging textiles or spices for raw materials needed for spoon crafting. Once materials were procured, they were distributed to skilled artisans organized into guilds. The logs reveal a hierarchical structure within these guilds, with master spoon makers overseeing apprentices. Each guild maintained its own inventory records, which were periodically submitted to the imperial administration for review. This oversight ensured that the quality of spoons met the imperial standards, as stipulated by bureaucratic regulations. The logistics of transportation also played a critical role in the spoon supply chain. The logs documented the various routes taken to distribute spoons throughout the empire, from bustling Constantinople to remote provinces. Merchants often faced numerous challenges, including seasonal flooding of rivers and banditry along trade routes, which were duly noted in the records. Such annotations provided insight into the broader economic conditions of the empire and illustrated the complexities of maintaining a steady supply of utensils. ###record-keeping methods. The record-keeping methods employed by the Byzantine bureaucratic system were as sophisticated as they were meticulous. The imperial inventory logs, which detailed spoon usage, maintenance, and production, were recorded in a systematic manner that has intrigued historians for centuries. The primary method of record-keeping involved the use of wax tablets and styluses, which allowed for easy revisions and updates to the logs as circumstances changed. The tablets were often bound together in portfolios, creating a portable archive of spoon inventory that could be transported between locations. This method enabled bureaucrats to maintain accurate records even in the face of logistical challenges. In addition to wax tablets, parchment and ink were also employed for more permanent records. The logs that detailed the ceremonial spoons, reserved for state occasions, were meticulously inscribed on parchment, often embellished with decorative initials and seals to signify their importance. This attention to detail underscores the values placed on these records, not merely as administrative necessities but as reflections of the empire's grandeur. Moreover, the organization of the logs followed a hierarchical structure, categorizing spoons based on their material, design, and intended use. Cross-referencing systems were often employed, allowing bureaucrats to track individual spoons throughout their life cycle, from creation and usage to maintenance and eventual retirement. Such thorough documentation provided an invaluable resource for future administrations, ensuring continuity and consistency in spoon management. The evolution of record-keeping methods coincided with advancements in literacy and education within the Byzantine bureaucracy. As the empire progressed, the complexity of the logs increased, with annotations and cross-references becoming more common. This evolution demonstrates the empire's commitment to administrative efficiency, as well as the importance of spoon usage to the imperial identity. Conclusion. The Byzantine Empire's history of spoon usage, meticulously catalogued in its imperial inventory logs, reveals a rich tapestry of cultural, economic, and bureaucratic interconnections. From regional variations in design and use to the evolution of spoon forms across centuries, the narrative of spoon usage is a microcosm of the broader Byzantine experience. The bureaucratic regulations governing spoon production and distribution reflect not only the empire's complexity but also its commitment to maintaining a cohesive identity amidst diversity. As we delve into the mundane aspects of spoon usage, we uncover the intricacies of supply chains and logistics that sustained the empire's culinary practices. The methods of record-keeping employed by Byzantine administrators highlight the significance of these utensils, not merely as tools for consumption, but as symbols of imperial authority and cultural heritage. Thus, the tedious history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs serves as a testament to the enduring legacy of a civilization that, while often overlooked in grand narratives, played a pivotal role in shaping the culinary practices of its time. The tedious history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs, an in-depth analysis of regional variations, temporal evolution, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain dynamics, and record-keeping methods. Introduction. The Byzantine Empire, with its complex socio-political structures and rich cultural tapestry, was characterized not only by grandiose architecture and theological disputes but also by a curious, yet pivotal, aspect of daily life: the usage of spoons, particularly in the context of imperial inventory logs. This analysis seeks to delve into the regional variations that influenced spoon usage, the evolution of these utensils through different historical epochs, the bureaucratic frameworks governing their documentation, the intricacies of supply chains that sustained them, and the meticulous record-keeping methods employed by Byzantine officials. Regional variations and comparisons. From the time of the establishment of Constantinople as the capital of the Byzantine Empire, the regional variations in spoon usage can be traced back to local customs, available materials, and socio-economic conditions. The provinces, each with its unique cultural identity, had distinct preferences regarding the design and material of spoons. In Asia Minor, for instance, spoons were typically crafted from silver and adorned with intricate engravings, reflecting the wealth and artistry prevalent in the region. These spoons often featured elongated handles, which were not only a testament to their aesthetic appeal but also indicative of the local culinary practices that necessitated deeper bowls. In contrast, the provinces of Thrace and Macedonia leaned toward simpler, utilitarian designs, often utilizing bronze due to its accessibility and cost-effectiveness. The logs from these regions frequently noted the prevalence of bronze spoons in common households, while silver spoons were reserved for the elite and imperial households. Additionally, the island provinces exhibited further distinctions in spoon design. The Aegean Islands, rich in maritime trade, had access to exotic materials, leading to the production of spoons embellished with mother-of-pearl and ivory. These spoons were often used during ceremonial feasts, as indicated in the logs, which detailed their specific allocation during imperial banquets. Comparatively, the logs from the newly acquired territories in the Balkans post-conquest reveal a stark contrast. The adoption of spoon usage in these regions was gradual, with local customs initially favoring wooden utensils. The inventory logs reflected a transitional phase where wooden spoons were documented alongside silver spoons, illustrating the empire's effort to integrate these new regions into the broader cultural and culinary practices of Byzantine society. Evolution over different time periods. The evolution of spoon usage within the Byzantine Empire can be delineated into several key periods, each marked by significant socio-political changes. The early Byzantine period, c. 330 to 600 CE, saw the establishment of spoon usage as an essential component of dining culture among the upper echelons of society. Initial inventory logs from this period reveal a limited variety of spoons, predominantly made from metals such as silver and gold, often inscribed with the names of their owners or decorated with religious motifs. This practice not only served a functional purpose but also reinforced social hierarchies. As the empire progressed into the Middle Byzantine period, c. 600–1204 CE, there was a marked diversification in design and materials. The inventory logs began to reflect an increased production of ceramic and glass spoons, likely influenced by the economic stability and technological advancements of the time. The introduction of these materials, as recorded in the logs, indicated a shift towards more accessible dining implements for the burgeoning middle class, thus democratizing spoon usage and altering the previously rigid socio-economic boundaries. The late Byzantine period, circa 1204 to 1453 CE, experienced a further evolution spurred by external influences, particularly following the Fourth Crusade. The logs from this period illustrate a fascinating amalgamation of styles, with Venetian glass and Eastern metalwork merging into the Byzantine spoon-making tradition. This period also saw the introduction of elaborate ceremonial spoons, often used in religious contexts, which were meticulously recorded in the imperial logs due to their significance. Bureaucratic regulations and laws. The bureaucratic oversight of spoon usage and inventory management in the Byzantine Empire was a reflection of the empire's broader administrative competencies. The imperial bureaucracy established specific regulations that dictated not only the types of spoons that could be used in official capacities but also the manner in which these utensils were to be documented. One notable regulation was the Spoon Decree of 913 CE, which mandated that all silver spoons used in imperial dining must be engraved with a unique identification code assigned by the imperial treasury. This code system was critical for preventing theft and ensuring accountability, as reflected in the subsequent logs. Each spoon's entry included details such as the material, weight, and the specific event for which it was allocated, demonstrating the meticulous nature of Byzantine bureaucratic practices. Furthermore, the Council of Constantinople in 1156 CE introduced guidelines regarding the maintenance and repair of spoons, particularly those designated for ceremonial use. The logs from this period illustrate the recording of repairs alongside original entries, signifying the importance placed on preserving the integrity of these items. Such regulations ensured that even as spoons aged, their historical and cultural significance was maintained. Supply chain and logistics. The supply chain dynamics surrounding spoon production and distribution in the Byzantine Empire reveal a complex network of artisans, traders, and bureaucratic oversight. The initial stages of spoon production began with the sourcing of raw materials, which varied significantly by region. Silver and gold were often mined in the Balkans and Anatolia, while bronze and wood were sourced from the more agrarian provinces. The intricacies of logistics come to the forefront when examining how these materials were transported to urban centers, particularly Constantinople. Inventory logs meticulously recorded the arrival of materials at various workshops, detailing the quantities received and the artisans responsible for crafting the spoons. The logs from the docks of Constantinople, for instance, provide a comprehensive view of the volume of materials entering the city, reflecting the thriving trade networks established by the empire. Moreover, the movement of finished spoons from workshops to the imperial household involved a regimented process. Artisans were required to submit delivery logs alongside their products, ensuring that each spoon could be traced back to its maker. This level of oversight was crucial in maintaining quality control, as spoons destined for imperial usage underwent rigorous inspections, which were also documented in the logs. Record-keeping methods. The record-keeping methods employed by Byzantine officials in managing spoon inventories were both detailed and systematic, reflecting the empire's advanced bureaucratic structures. The primary format for these logs was a series of parchment scrolls, meticulously inscribed with ink derived from carbon black and other natural pigments. The scrolls were organized chronologically and thematically, allowing for easy retrieval and reference. Each entry typically included a description of the spoon, its material, weight, and any notable characteristics, such as engravings or repairs. Additionally, the logs documented the context of usage, whether in imperial banquets, state functions, or religious ceremonies. This attention to detail provided a comprehensive historical account not merely of spoons but also of the cultural practices surrounding their use. The method of documenting spoon usage evolved over time, particularly with the advent of the codex format in the later periods of Byzantine history. This transition facilitated a more organized and efficient means of record-keeping, allowing for cross-referencing and easier updates. The logs from this era reflect a shift towards a more comprehensive archival system, where spoon inventories were categorized by type, material, and usage, providing a detailed snapshot of culinary culture across the empire. Conclusion. In summary, the examination of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs reveals a rich tapestry of regional variations, evolutionary trends, and bureaucratic intricacies. The evolution of spoon usage mirrors the broader socio-political changes within the empire, while the meticulous record-keeping practices highlight the importance of culinary culture in Byzantine society. Through an analysis of these mundane yet fascinating aspects of daily life, we gain invaluable insights into the complex interplay of tradition, innovation, and governance that defined the Byzantine Empire. As we reflect on the legacy of these utensils, it becomes evident that even the most quotidian objects hold the potential to illuminate the vast history of a civilization. The legacy of Byzantine spoon usage, documented with such care and precision, serves as a testament to the empire's enduring influence on culinary practices and administrative excellence, ensuring that even the most mundane elements of life are preserved for future generations to ponder. The tedious history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs, an in-depth examination of regional variations, evolution, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain dynamics, and record-keeping methods. Regional variations and comparisons in spoon usage. The Byzantine Empire, at its zenith, was an intricate tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions that spanned Europe, Asia, and North Africa. This vast geographical expanse inevitably led to regional variations in the usage of imperial spoons. In the heart of Constantinople, the imperial capital, spoons were typically crafted from precious metals, often adorned with intricate engravings and set with gemstones. These spoons were not merely utilitarian items, they were status symbols that conveyed the wealth and power of the aristocracy. The highly skilled artisans of Constantinople employed techniques handed down through generations to create spoons that were as much works of art as they were functional implements. Conversely, in the more remote provinces of the empire, such as the rural regions of Anatolia or the Balkan territories, the spoons tended to be more utilitarian and less ornate. The materials employed in their manufacture often included wood or clay, reflecting local resources and the prevailing economic conditions. In these areas, the spoons were frequently produced in communal workshops where the labor was divided among local craftsmen, emphasizing the communal spirit rather than the individual artistry seen in the capital. The differences in spoon usage extended to the manner of consumption as well. In the bustling marketplaces of Constantinople, the act of dining was a social affair marked by elaborate feasts, where the imperial spoon was employed not only to partake in food but also to showcase the host's wealth and hospitality. In contrast, the provincial populace engaged in more modest dining practices, utilizing simpler utensils and focusing on sustenance rather than display. This divergence highlights how social stratification influenced mundane aspects of daily life, with the imperial spoon serving as a microcosm of Byzantine society itself. 2. Evolution of spoon usage over different time periods ****. The evolution of spoon usage in the Byzantine Empire can be traced through several distinct phases, each marked by shifts in cultural attitudes, political changes, and economic conditions. In the early Byzantine period, spoon design was relatively rudimentary, reflecting a time when the empire was still consolidating its identity following the division of the Roman Empire. The spoons from this era, often simplistic in form and function, were primarily crafted from bronze or iron, materials that were both accessible and durable. As the empire expanded and absorbed various cultural influences, particularly from the East, the design and use of spoons began to evolve dramatically. By the Middle Byzantine period, approximately the 9th to 12th centuries, spoons became more ornate, reflecting the increasing wealth of the empire. The introduction of silver and gold spoons, often intricately designed with motifs inspired by both classical art and contemporary religious iconography, marked this era. These spoons were not just tools for eating but were often used in ceremonial contexts, such as during the Eucharist or other religious rites, further blurring the lines between utility and symbolism. The late Byzantine period, particularly during the 13th to 15th centuries, witnessed a decline in the quality and craftsmanship of spoons, coinciding with the empire's gradual fragmentation and economic strife. The once magnificent imperial spoons were often replaced by simpler, mass-produced items, reflecting a shift in societal values as the focus turned from opulence to survival. This decline was exacerbated by the increasing threat of external forces, leading to a preoccupation with warfare and instability rather than artistic pursuits. 3. Bureaucratic regulations and laws governing spoon usage ****. The Byzantine Empire was notorious for its complex bureaucratic structure, which extended into the minutiae of everyday life, including the regulation of spoon usage. Numerous edicts and regulations were enacted to govern the production, distribution, and use of spoons within the imperial domain. These laws often stemmed from a desire to maintain social order and ensure that symbols of status, such as the imperial spoon, were appropriately utilized. One of the earliest recorded regulations regarding spoon usage can be traced back to the reign of Emperor Justinian I in the 6th century. His legal code, known as the Corpus Juris Civilis, included stipulations about the materials that could be used for spoons, particularly in relation to the aristocracy. The laws stipulated that noble families must utilize silver or gold spoons during formal meals, while commoners were restricted to using utensils made from less costly materials. This legal framework was not merely an arbitrary imposition but served to reinforce the social hierarchy that was foundational to Byzantine society. Furthermore, the bureaucratic oversight extended to quality control measures that mandated inspections of spoon production workshops. Inspectors, often appointed from among the ranks of the local aristocracy, were responsible for ensuring that spoons met the requisite standards of finery and craftsmanship. These inspectors would keep detailed logs of their findings, which contributed to the extensive record-keeping practices that characterized Byzantine governance. In addition to production regulations, laws also dictated proper spoon usage during official gatherings and ceremonies. For instance, during imperial banquets, it was mandated that all attendees must use the ceremonial spoons provided by the emperor, which were often exquisitely crafted and bore the imperial insignia. This regulation not only ensured a uniform standard of decorum but also served to reinforce the emperor's authority and the grandeur of the imperial court. 4. Supply chain and logistics of spoon production ****. The production and distribution of spoons within the Byzantine Empire necessitated a sophisticated supply chain that involved a myriad of craftsmen, merchants, and bureaucrats. The raw materials required for spoon manufacture, such as metals, wood, and decorative stones, were sourced from various regions of the empire, each contributing unique resources and expertise to the process. Metallic spoons, for example, often relied on silver mined from the rich deposits in Thrace and other parts of the Balkans. These metals would then be transported to workshops in Constantinople, where skilled artisans would transform them into ornate spoons. The logistics of this operation were complex. Caravans of merchants would navigate the treacherous terrain, facing the dual challenges of natural obstacles and the potential threat of bandits. These journeys were meticulously planned, often involving the coordination of local authorities to ensure safe passage. In addition to metal sourcing, wood for the simpler spoons was often harvested from the abundant forests of Anatolia. Local craftsmen would carve these wooden utensils, utilizing techniques passed down through generations. The distribution of these wooden spoons was facilitated through local markets, where they could be purchased by the populace. The interplay between local craftsmanship and imperial demand created a dynamic economy that sustained the Byzantine spoon industry. Moreover, the logistics of spoon production were further complicated by the need for quality assurance. Workshops were often required to submit samples of their work to local guilds for approval, ensuring that only items meeting the imperial standards would reach the market. This process was vital in maintaining the integrity of spoon production, as subpar items could undermine the social hierarchy that hinged on the display of wealth and status. Record-keeping methods in Byzantine spoon usage. The Byzantine Empire is renowned for its meticulous record-keeping practices, a necessity given the complexity of its bureaucratic structure. The inventory logs related to spoon usage provide a fascinating insight into the methods employed by Byzantine officials to track and manage this seemingly mundane aspect of imperial life. The primary record-keeping method involved the use of scrolls made from papyrus or parchment, which were inscribed with details regarding the production, distribution, and usage of spoons. These scrolls were maintained at various administrative levels, from local workshops to the imperial court, each meticulously cataloging the details of spoon inventory. The logs typically included information such as the type of material used, the quantity produced, the names of the artisans, and the intended recipients of the spoons. This level of detail underscores the significance attributed to the imperial spoon as both a functional object and a symbol of status. In addition to scrolls, the Byzantine clerks employed a system of notations and abbreviations to expedite the recording process. This shorthand allowed for rapid documentation during inspections and produced an extensive archive of spoon-related data. These records were often cross-referenced with other bureaucratic documents, such as tax records and census data, creating a comprehensive overview of spoon usage within the empire. Furthermore, the preservation of these logs became increasingly important as the empire faced external threats and internal strife. The meticulous documentation of spoon usage not only served practical purposes but also functioned as a means of legitimizing the authority of the imperial regime. In times of crisis, these records could be used to demonstrate the stability and continuity of the empire, reinforcing the idea that even the most mundane aspects of daily life were under the careful watch of the state. In conclusion, the Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs reveal a multifaceted narrative that extends far beyond the simple act of eating. Through regional variations, evolving designs, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain logistics, and comprehensive record-keeping practices, the history of spoon usage in the Byzantine Empire serves as a microcosm of the empire's broader social, economic, and political dynamics. Each spoon, whether ornate or utilitarian, tells a story that reflects the complexities of a civilization that, despite its eventual decline, left an indelible mark on history. The Tedious History of Byzantine Imperial Spoon Usage Inventory Logs, Part 10. The Byzantine Empire, renowned for its complex bureaucracy and elaborate cultural practices, also exhibited notable regional variations in the usage and documentation of imperial spoons. These variations, while seemingly mundane, reveal significant insights into the socio-political and economic structures of the time. ### Regional variations and comparisons. In the western territories of the Byzantine Empire, particularly in regions such as Thrace and Macedonia, the imperial spoons were often characterized by their more ornate designs, reflecting the local artisanal traditions and the influence of neighboring cultures. In contrast, regions like Asia Minor tended to favor simpler, more utilitarian spoon designs, a reflection of the predominant agrarian lifestyles and the practical needs of the populace. The spoons themselves were often made from a variety of materials, including silver, bronze, and, on rare occasions, gold. The choice of material was not merely aesthetic but also indicative of the spoon's intended use. For instance, silver spoons were commonly utilized in the imperial court for ceremonial occasions, while bronze spoons were prevalent in the households of the aristocracy and commoners alike. Moreover, the regional variations extended to the methods of recording spoon usage. In the capital, Constantinople, elaborate logs maintained by a cadre of bureaucrats documented every spoon's use within the imperial kitchens. In contrast, provincial towns relied on simpler, less formalized record-keeping methods, often maintained by local officials who may not have possessed the same level of training or diligence as their Constantinopolitan counterparts. This discrepancy in documentation practices resulted in a patchwork of records that, while tedious, provided a rich tapestry of insights into the daily life of the empire. ###Evolution over different time periods. The evolution of spoon usage and its documentation can be traced through various periods of Byzantine history. During the early Byzantine period, approximately 330 to 600 CE, spoons were primarily utilitarian, used for the consumption of a limited range of foods such as porridge and broth. Records from this time indicate that the inventory logs were rudimentary, often comprising simple tally marks on clay tablets or parchment. The logs were maintained by the head chef of the imperial kitchen, who was responsible for ensuring that the correct number of spoons was available for each meal service. As the empire progressed into the Middle Byzantine period, approximately 600–1204 CE, the complexity of both spoon design and record-keeping increased significantly. The introduction of new culinary practices, influenced by trade and cultural exchange with the Islamic world, necessitated a broader variety of spoons. These included specialized spoons for serving sauces, desserts, and even medicinal concoctions. The inventory logs from this period began to include detailed descriptions of each spoon, including its size, material, and specific purpose. The late Byzantine period, approximately 1204 to 1453 CE, saw further evolution, as the empire faced increasing external pressures and internal strife. The records maintained during this time became increasingly erratic, often reflecting the chaotic state of the empire. Yet even amidst turmoil, the importance of maintaining accurate inventory logs remained paramount. Emperors and their court officials understood that a well-managed kitchen could serve as a symbol of stability and opulence during uncertain times. Consequently, the logs began to include not only spoon usage but also notes on repairs, replacements, and even the occasional theft. Bureaucratic regulations and laws. The Byzantine bureaucracy was notorious for its intricate regulations governing virtually every aspect of life, including the usage of imperial spoons. Various edicts and laws were established to ensure the proper maintenance and usage of these utensils. For instance, a decree issued during the reign of Emperor Justinian I mandated that all spoons used within the imperial court be engraved with the imperial insignia. This regulation served a dual purpose. It not only signified the spoon's ownership but also deterred theft, which was not uncommon in the opulent court settings. In addition to ownership markings, regulations also dictated the cleaning and maintenance of spoons. Specific protocols were established for the washing of spoons, with designated staff responsible for this task. These individuals were required to document the cleaning schedule in the inventory logs, noting the date, time, and method of cleaning. Interestingly, some logs from this era indicate that spoons were often cleaned using a combination of water and a mixture of vinegar and salt, believed to preserve the integrity of the metal and prevent tarnishing. Moreover, the Byzantine legal code also addressed the consequences of mismanagement or neglect of spoon usage. If a kitchen staff member were found to have misappropriated an imperial spoon, the punishment could range from fines to more severe consequences, including exile or imprisonment. Such strict regulations underscored the importance of proper inventory management and the high value placed on imperial possessions, no matter how seemingly trivial. Supply chain and logistics. The logistics of spoon distribution within the Byzantine Empire were as complex as the empire itself. The supply chain for these utensils involved multiple layers of artisans, traders, and bureaucrats. Spoons were often sourced from various regions, with skilled metalworkers in Constantinople and surrounding provinces producing spoons of varying designs and materials. Trade routes played a crucial role in the supply chain. For instance, Silver spoons were frequently imported from mines in Thrace, while bronze spoons were more commonly made from locally sourced materials. The imperial kitchens maintained a careful inventory of these supplies, ensuring that there was always an adequate stock of each type of spoon. This necessitated regular inspections of the supply levels, often recorded in meticulous logs detailing the quantity of spoons received, used, and available for future service. Furthermore, logistical challenges, such as transportation issues or supplier conflicts, could significantly impact spoon availability. In instances where supplies ran low, the imperial kitchen would often resort to alternative strategies, such as repurposing older spoons or even commissioning new designs from local artisans to meet immediate needs. Such decisions were carefully documented in the inventory logs, emphasizing the dynamic nature of spoon management within the Byzantine court. #record-keeping methods. The methods of record-keeping evolved significantly throughout Byzantine history, particularly concerning the imperial spoon inventory logs. In the early periods, as previously mentioned, the logs were often basic tally systems, utilizing clay tablets or parchment. These methods, while functional, lacked the sophistication that would emerge in later centuries. As the empire advanced, so too did the record-keeping methods. By the Middle Byzantine period, the logs were often maintained in bound volumes, with individual entries meticulously inscribed by scribes trained in the art of penmanship. These volumes featured detailed descriptions of each spoon, including not only its physical characteristics but also notes on its usage and any repairs it had undergone. The late Byzantine period saw the emergence of a more bureaucratic approach to record-keeping. Inventory logs began to incorporate standardized formats, with pre-printed headings and sections dedicated to specific types of spoons. These logs were often kept in multiple copies for redundancy, ensuring that any discrepancies could be easily resolved through cross-referencing. Moreover, the use of wax tablets for temporary notes became common, allowing for quick updates that could later be transcribed into the official logs. The integrity of the record-keeping process was paramount. Scribes were often subjected to rigorous oversight, and any errors in the logs could lead to severe repercussions. As such, meticulous attention to detail became a hallmark of Byzantine bureaucratic culture, even in matters as trivial as the inventory of spoons. In conclusion, the Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs offer a fascinating glimpse into a seemingly trivial aspect of imperial life. The regional variations, evolution over time, bureaucratic regulations, supply chain logistics, and record-keeping methods all contribute to a deeper understanding of how such mundane objects played a crucial role in the broader tapestry of Byzantine society. The study of these logs, while tedious, underscores the importance of material culture and historical analysis and offers a unique perspective on the complexities of life within one of history's most intriguing empires. The exploration of Byzantine imperial spoon usage, particularly in the context of inventory logs, is a rather niche yet fascinating domain that sheds light on the culinary practices and social customs of the Byzantine Empire. Within this extensive framework, we can delve deeper into minor historical figures who played pivotal roles in the management and documentation of spoon usage, analyze specific case studies that highlight the intricacies of spoon-related activities, and engage in a comparative analysis with spoon utilization in other regions during the same period. Furthermore, we will examine archaeological findings that have emerged from excavations, as well as plausible primary source quotations that exemplify the bureaucratic nature of spoon inventory management. Minor historical figures and their roles. While the grand emperors and renowned generals of the Byzantine Empire often dominate historical narratives, it is crucial to acknowledge the lesser-known individuals whose contributions were instrumental in the meticulous documentation of spoon usage. One such figure is Michael of Ephesus, a minor bureaucrat during the reign of Emperor Alexios I Komnenos, 1081–1118 AD. Michael was tasked with overseeing the inventory logs of the imperial kitchen, a duty that required him to meticulously catalogue every piece of silverware, including spoons, used in the royal dining halls. In a particularly tedious entry dated March 5, 1103, Michael wrote, "Upon inspection, it has been observed that the imperial spoons, designated for the consumption of honeyed porridge, number precisely 73. A thorough examination reveals one spoon of lesser quality, likely misappropriated during a previous feast." His attention to detail exemplifies the bureaucratic diligence required in the management of imperial assets. Another notable figure is Anna Komnene, the daughter of Alexios I, who documented the intricacies of court life in her work, the Alexiad. While her focus was primarily on political affairs, she occasionally commented on the dining habits of the elite. In her writings, she reflected on the varying materials used for spoons, noting, "The golden spoons, resplendent under the flickering torchlight, serve not only as utensils but as symbols of our imperial grandeur." This duality of function highlights the social and ceremonial significance attributed to these seemingly mundane objects. Specific case studies with dates. To further illustrate the Byzantine imperial spoon usage, we can examine specific case studies that encapsulate the complexities of spoon inventory management. One particularly illustrative case is the Great Feast of 1143, held in honor of the visiting King of Hungary. This event required extensive logistical preparation, including the procurement and allocation of spoons. The inventory log from the imperial kitchen, dated February 20, 1143, notes, "For the banquet, an additional 50 silver spoons have been commissioned, each engraved with the likeness of Emperor John II Comnenus, to be utilized solely during the service of the royal pudding." The meticulous planning involved in this feast underscores the significance placed on the ceremonial use of spoons, which were not merely functional but served as a means of demonstrating wealth and prestige. Moreover, an incident recorded on November 11, 1150, refers to a minor scandal involving the misplacement of a set of 12 gold spoons. The entry states, "It has come to our attention that the gold spoons promised for the evening meal have been found in the possession of a lowly servant. Immediate disciplinary action is advised to prevent future occurrences." This incident highlights the strict protocols surrounding spoon allocation, reflecting a culture that took pride in its culinary artifacts. Comparative analysis with other regions. When comparing Byzantine spoon usage to that of other regions during the same historical period, it becomes evident that the Byzantines placed a unique emphasis on the ceremonial and aesthetic aspects of dining implements. In Western Europe, for instance, spoon usage was primarily utilitarian, as evidenced by the inventory logs from the English royal household during the 12th century, which rarely noted the material or artistry of spoons. In contrast, Byzantine records often include detailed descriptions of the craftsmanship involved in spoon production. A comparative entry from a 12th century English royal inventory reads, 20 wooden spoons, suitable for porridge, to be used in the kitchen, which starkly contrasts with a Byzantine entry that might elaborate as follows: 50 beautifully crafted silver spoons, inlaid with mother-of-pearl, each bearing the imperial seal, designated for the consumption of delicately seasoned fish stew. This difference in emphasis illustrates the cultural values of each region, with Byzantium demonstrating a penchant for luxury and artistry, while other regions prioritized practicality. The socio-political implications of these distinctions cannot be understated, as they reflect broader attitudes toward wealth, status, and the role of material culture in reinforcing hierarchical structures. #Archaeological findings and interpretations. Archaeological excavations in the region of Constantinople have unearthed a wealth of artifacts that provide insight into the imperial spoon usage of the Byzantine era. One particularly significant find occurred at the site of the Great Palace in the late 20th century, where several intact spoon sets were discovered. These spoons, crafted from silver and adorned with intricate designs, were accompanied by a well-preserved inventory log that chronicled their use over several decades. The log, dated between 1071 and 1095, contains entries such as, spoon set number 23, used exclusively for the service of the emperor's favorite honeyed figs, shall henceforth be transferred to the treasury due to its ornate craftsmanship. This find not only illustrates the significance of spoons in imperial feasting practices but also underscores their role as valuable commodities within the Byzantine economy. Additionally, excavations in the outskirts of the city revealed remnants of a lesser-known workshop dedicated to spoon production. Artifacts from this site included unfinished spoon prototypes, which researchers have interpreted as evidence of the high demand for customized spoons tailored to emperors and nobility. The presence of these workshops indicates that spoon-making was a specialized craft, requiring skilled artisans to produce items that met the aesthetic expectations of the elite. Primary source quotations, invented but plausible. To enrich our understanding of Byzantine spoon usage and the bureaucratic processes surrounding it, we can create plausible quotations attributed to various historical figures and documents of the time. These quotations serve to encapsulate the attitudes and practices surrounding spoon inventory management. From the aforementioned Michael of Ephesus, one might find an entry that reads, "The spoons of the imperial household must be maintained with utmost diligence. Each tarnished spoon, if left unattended, is a blemish upon the emperor's table." This reflects the prevailing mindset that the appearance and condition of dining implements were directly linked to the image of imperial authority. In a hypothetical letter from Anna Komnene to her brother, she might express, "The spoons, though mere vessels of sustenance, embody our family's legacy and the grandeur of our lineage. Let us ensure that they remain in pristine condition, fit for the eyes of our esteemed guests. Such sentiments reveal the intertwined relationship between material culture and familial pride. Additionally, a fictional decree issued by Emperor Manuel I Comnenos could state, "Let all spoons, whether silver or gold, be accounted for with precision, for in their absence lies the threat of disorder within our esteemed halls." This hypothetical proclamation further illustrates the gravity with which spoon inventory was regarded within the imperial administration. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs provide a unique lens through which to explore the cultural, social, and economic dimensions of the Byzantine Empire. Through the examination of minor historical figures, specific case studies, comparative analyses, archaeological findings, and invented primary source quotations, we have unearthed a wealth of detail surrounding the often overlooked topic of spoon management. The bureaucratic diligence exemplified by figures such as Michael of Ephesus and Anna Komnene, the intricate planning surrounding significant feasts, the contrast with spoon usage in other regions, and the archaeological evidence all contribute to a richer understanding of the role that spoons played in the fabric of Byzantine life. Ultimately, this exhaustive account of spoon usage serves to underscore the importance of seemingly mundane objects in shaping the narratives of empires, cultures, and the rituals that bind them. The tedious history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs is a topic that, while seemingly mundane, reveals a rich tapestry of cultural nuances, economic practices, and social hierarchies within the Byzantine Empire. This exploration will delve into various aspects of this subject, including minor historical figures who played pivotal roles in the development of spoon usage protocols, specific case studies that exemplify the evolution of spoon inventories, a comparative analysis with spoon usage in other regions, archaeological findings that shed light on the material culture of the period, and plausible primary source quotations that, while invented, reflect the kind of bureaucratic language one might expect from Byzantine records. Minor historical figures and their roles. While emperors such as Justinian I and Constantine the Great loom large in the historical narrative of the Byzantine Empire, numerous minor figures contributed to the minutiae of daily life, including the management of spoon inventories. One such figure is Basilios of Chalcis, a lesser-known bureaucrat who served as the logothete of the financial affairs in the early 10th century. Basilios was responsible for maintaining records of imperial utensils, including spoons, which were often crafted from precious metals and served both practical and ceremonial purposes. Basilios's meticulous records reveal that even the spoons used during imperial banquets were categorized by material, gold, silver, and lesser alloys, each designated for specific functions. His logs included not only the quantity of spoons but also detailed descriptions of their decorative motifs, which often reflected the imperial iconography of the time. For instance, Basilios noted in his log for the year 917 AD, "The golden spoon adorned with the likeness of the Virgin Mary shall be reserved for the emperor during the feast of the Theophany." Another minor figure worthy of mention is Eudocia, the chief servant of the imperial kitchen, who, in the mid-11th century, oversaw the allocation of spoons for daily meals as well as special occasions. Eudochia's correspondence with various suppliers highlighted the importance of maintaining a consistent inventory of spoons, especially those crafted for specific ceremonial uses. Her letters, although primarily concerned with procurement, often included comments on the quality and craftsmanship of the spoons, which she deemed essential for maintaining the dignity of the imperial table. ### Specific case studies with dates. To further illustrate the significance of spoon usage in Byzantine society, we can examine specific case studies from various periods. One particularly illuminating example is the Feast of the Dormition of the Theotokos, celebrated annually on August 15th. Historical records indicate that the imperial court made extensive preparations for this event, which included an inventory check of all ceremonial spoons. In the year 1025 AD, Emperor Romanos III ordered a comprehensive inventory of the silver spoons designated for the feast. A document known as the Spoon Inventory of August was generated, detailing not only the spoons themselves but also the individuals responsible for their care. The log notes that 56 spoons of the finest silver were to be polished and set aside for the imperial family, while an additional 20 were allocated for the esteemed guests who would dine at the imperial table. Furthermore, the log noted the usage of a special spoon, known as the Spoon of the Saints, which was believed to have been blessed by a patriarch. This particular spoon held a dual purpose. It was used to serve food and was also utilized during religious ceremonies. The log stated, "The spoon of the saints shall be employed only during the divine liturgy and shall not be sullied by mundane fare." ### Comparative analysis with other regions. In order to fully appreciate the Byzantine approach to spoon inventories, it is useful to compare their practices with those of other contemporary cultures. For instance, in the Fatimid Caliphate of North Africa, the management of dining utensils was similarly detailed but reflected different socio-political dynamics. Fatimid records indicate a penchant for elaborate gold and silver spoons, often inscribed with verses from the Quran, which were meticulously catalogued by artisan guilds rather than state bureaucracies. In contrast, the Viking societies of Northern Europe had a far less formalized approach. Archaeological findings from sites such as Burka reveal that spoons were often hand-carved from wood and displayed varying levels of craftsmanship. The lack of formal inventory logs in Viking culture suggests a more communal approach to utensil management, as spoons were often shared among kin during feasts, in stark contrast to the Byzantine emphasis on individual accountability and imperial exclusivity. Additionally, the Ming dynasty in China also had an intricate system for managing dining utensils, including spoons. However, their focus was more on the ceremonial aspects of dining, with records detailing the use of jade and porcelain for imperial meals. The Ming logs often focused on the aesthetic qualities and ritual significance of the spoons, rather than the bureaucratic details that characterized Byzantine logs. ### Archaeological findings and interpretations. The material culture surrounding spoon usage in the Byzantine Empire has been illuminated by numerous archaeological finds over the years. In excavations of the Great Palace of Constantinople, several silver spoons were unearthed, each intricately designed and often bearing the mark of a specific artisan. These spoons provide insight into both the artistry of the period and the social status associated with their ownership. One notable find was a silver spoon dating to the 9th century, inscribed with the phrase, "For the glory of our Lord." This inscription suggests that spoons were not merely functional items but also held symbolic significance. Archaeologists have speculated that such spoons might have been used during religious ceremonies, further emphasizing the intertwining of daily life and spirituality in Byzantine culture. Another fascinating discovery was made in the monastery of St. John on the island of Patmos, where dozens of spoons were found in a cache, along with inventory logs that detailed their usage and distribution among the monks. These logs revealed that spoons were often gifted to visiting dignitaries, a practice that reinforced the monastic community's status and facilitated diplomatic relations. ###primary source quotations. To further enhance our understanding of the bureaucratic nature of spoon inventories, we can imagine plausible primary source quotations that reflect the style of Byzantine documentation. One such quote could be attributed to Basilios of Chalcis, stating, "Let it be known that the spoons of silver, each inscribed with the insignia of the emperor, shall be accounted for with the utmost diligence, lest the divine order be disrupted by the absence of a single utensil during the holy feast." Eudocia, the chief servant of the imperial kitchen, might have penned a note saying, "In the year of our Lord, I have procured 20 fine spoons for the feast of St. George, as the previous set was deemed unsatisfactory for the dignity of our esteemed guests." Further reflecting the bureaucratic tone, a log entry from the 12th century could read, "As per the imperial decree, all spoons utilized within the sacred confines of the imperial table shall be accounted for in the grand inventory of utensils, and any discrepancies shall incur the wrath of the chief logothete." ###conclusion. In conclusion, the exploration of the Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs offers a window into the complexities of Byzantine life, revealing how even the most mundane objects could hold profound significance within a highly structured society. Minor figures like Basilios and Eudocia played crucial roles in maintaining the intricate systems that governed utensil management, while specific case studies highlight the ceremonial importance of spoons in various cultural contexts. Comparative analyses with other regions further enrich our understanding, and archaeological findings provide tangible links to the past. Lastly, the imaginative primary source quotations serve to encapsulate the bureaucratic nature of Byzantine record-keeping. By unraveling the tediously detailed history of spoon usage in the Byzantine Empire, we uncover not just a narrative of utensils but a broader commentary on the social stratification, ritual practices, and economic activities of a civilization that has profoundly influenced the course of history. Thus, we arrive at a deeper appreciation for the unnoticed yet invaluable aspects of daily life in Byzantium, all while sedating the mind with the soporific nature of such exhaustive detail. The Byzantine Empire, spanning over a millennium, was characterized not only by grandiose architecture, theological debates, and military conquests but also by the seemingly mundane yet surprisingly significant use of spoons. Among the myriad of utensils utilized in the daily life of the Byzantines, the spoon held a unique place, emblematic of both social status and culinary practices. The Byzantine Imperial Spoon Usage Inventory Logs, visual, serve as a fascinating, albeit tedious, lens through which one can explore the complexities of daily life in this multifaceted empire. To truly appreciate the Byzantine spoon's relevance, it is pivotal to examine some minor historical figures who contributed to the evolution and documentation of spoon usage. One such figure is Anna Komnena, a Byzantine princess and historian, born around 1083. In her work, the Alexiad, she delves into the courtly life of the Byzantine Empire, including the dining customs of the elite. Although her primary focus was on the reign of her father, Emperor Alexios I Komnenos, she offers insights into the elaborate banquets that featured silver and gold spoons, often intricately designed with royal insignia. Another lesser-known figure is Michael Psellos, a scholar and statesman of the 11th century. Psellos frequently recorded the minutiae of court life, including the utensils employed during imperial feasts. His writings suggest that the spoons were not merely tools for consumption but were also laden with symbolism. In one of his hypothetical passages, Psellos might have stated, "The silver spoon, a gleaming testament to our wealth, reflects not just the food it holds but the very essence of our imperial grandeur." This statement, albeit fictional, captures the essence of how spoons were viewed in the Byzantine court. The Byzantine Imperial spoon usage inventory logs themselves provide a comprehensive chronology of spoon-related practices. One specific case study can be derived from the logs dated to the reign of Emperor Justinian I, 527 to 565 CE. During this period, the inventory logs indicate a marked increase in the production and use of ornate spoons, reflecting the empire's wealth and the emperor's desire to project power through opulence. The logs detail the acquisition of 150 gold spoons, each engraved with intricate patterns and the emperor's monogram. It is noted that these spoons were primarily used during state banquets, serving dishes of opulent recipes such as peacock and stuffed dormice. Furthermore, the logs document an event on June 15, 558 CE, during which a grand banquet was held at the imperial palace in Constantinople to celebrate a military victory. The inventory from this event lists 300 silver spoons, each one meticulously catalogued by size, design, and intended use. For example, the logs specify that the smaller spoons, fashioned for the delicate consumption of sauces, were to be employed solely for the dish of spiced honey and figs. This fine distinction underscores the Byzantine approach to dining, where the type of spoon used was intrinsically linked to the nature of the food consumed. Comparative analysis with spoon usage in other regions reveals further layers of complexity and tedium. For instance, in the early medieval Islamic Empire, spoons were similarly crafted from precious metals, but their designs often included intricate filigree work and inscriptions quoting famous poets or religious texts. In contrast, while Byzantine spoons were crafted primarily for aesthetic value and imperial display, Islamic spoons were often imbued with spiritual significance and used in ritual contexts. Archaeological findings have also contributed significantly to our understanding of Byzantine spoon usage. Numerous excavations in Constantinople and surrounding regions have unearthed spoon fragments dating back to various periods, offering insights into the evolution of spoon design. One notable discovery at the site of the Great Palace of Constantinople in 1935 revealed a collection of spoons, some adorned with gemstone inlays, dated to the 9th century. The excavation report noted, the spoons, though fragmented, display a craftsmanship indicative of a society that revered both function and beauty in their culinary implements. In addition to archaeological artifacts, the interpretation of these findings has led to a greater appreciation of the social stratification present within Byzantine society. While the imperial family and nobility utilized lavishly decorated spoons, the common populace often relied on simpler wooden or clay spoons. This disparity reflects broader themes of wealth and power within the Byzantine Empire, where dining customs and utensil choice were reflective of one's societal standing. Primary source quotations, though invented for the sake of narrative continuity, can be employed to further illustrate the cultural significance of spoons. For instance, a fictional yet plausible quotation from a Byzantine chronicler might read, "In the court of our beloved emperors, the silver spoon is not merely a vessel for sustenance but a symbol of the divine right to rule, a reflection of the opulence bestowed upon the chosen of God." Such a statement, while fabricated, encapsulates the gravity with which spoons were regarded within the imperial context. Moreover, the inventory logs also detail the decline in spoon craftsmanship following the Fourth Crusade in 1204. During this tumultuous period, the logs reflect a marked decrease in the quality of spoons produced, as artisans were displaced and resources became scarce. The inventory from 1210 indicates that the silver spoons, now less ornate and lacking the imperial insignia, are a shadow of their former glory. This decline illustrates not only the socio-economic ramifications of the Crusade but also the cultural shifts that ensued as the Byzantine Empire grappled with external pressures and internal strife. As we delve deeper into the Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs, one cannot overlook the meticulous nature of the documentation. Each entry is characterized by an almost obsessive attention to detail, reflecting the bureaucratic prowess of the Byzantine state. For instance, an entry from 1082 specifies the acquisition of 24 spoons of varying lengths, with each measuring precisely 7 inches, adorned with a motif of the double-headed eagle. This level of detail, while seemingly excessive, underscores the Byzantine commitment to record-keeping and the importance they placed on culinary practices. In conclusion, the Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs serve as an invaluable resource for understanding the quotidian aspects of life within the Byzantine Empire. Through the examination of minor historical figures, case studies, comparative analyses, archaeological findings, and plausible primary source quotations, we gain a comprehensive view of how this seemingly mundane object, the spoon, was intertwined with the cultural, social, and political fabric of Byzantine society. While the topic may appear trivial to some, the elaborate history and significance of spoon usage in the Byzantine context offers a profound insight into the complexities of an empire that has long captivated historians and scholars alike. Ultimately, the Byzantine spoon transcends its functional role, becoming a symbol of power, status, and the intricate tapestry of life in a bygone era. And so, dear listeners, we come to the end of our tranquil journey through the intricate and rather unique history of Byzantine imperial spoon usage inventory logs. This exploration, while seemingly mundane, has unveiled the delicate threads that connect us to a time of profound cultural richness, ornate artistry, and a devotion to culinary precision. As we wandered through the annals of history, we discovered how these humble spoons were not merely utensils, but symbols of status, artistry, and the everyday lives of those who wielded them. From their initial crafting to their meticulous inventory management, each spoon tells a story of its own, woven into the grand tapestry of Byzantine life. We explored the meticulous records kept by emperors and their stewards, revealing an era where the smallest details mattered, and every morsel was cherished, not just for nourishment, but for the beauty and tradition it represented. Thank you for joining me on this soothing exploration. I hope you found comfort in the gentle cadence of the narrative and the serene imagery of a bygone era, one that encourages us to appreciate the little things in our own lives. Whether it was the elegant artistry of a spoon or the diligence of those who catalogued them, may you carry a sense of tranquility from this journey into your own evening. As you prepare to drift into a restful slumber, I invite you to let go of the day's thoughts and immerse yourself in the calm. May the stories of the past wrap around you like a warm blanket, bringing you peace and comfort. Remember, if you wish to revisit this gentle history, you are welcome to replay this soothing narrative at any time. Allow the whispers of the Byzantine world to lull you into a deeper state of relaxation, where dreams dance lightly on the edge of consciousness. So now, dear listeners, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Allow the weight of the day to fade away, as you embrace the serenity that comes with nightfall. May your dreams be filled with the beauty of historical wonders, and may you awaken refreshed and renewed with the dawning of a new day. Good night, dear ones. Sleep well and let the soothing embrace of the night carry you into the realms of sweet dreams.